Hey guys, Basidio here. Got a UU battle for you today. First UU battle ever uploaded. UU is my favorite tier this gen. It's also my best tier. On Showdown, I was ranked 4th in UU for a little bit. I know I'm top 20, I think I'm like 14th now. I went down a little bit. But I got voiced through UU. Through the UU challenge. In case you don't know what voiced is, it's just a kind of like an elite status. It means you're a good battler. So yeah, this is the team I got voiced with. I'm at the top. I'm facing Venti, who's at the bottom. So it's a Hail team. Abomasnow sets up Hail. Sub Leech Seed, Protect, Blizzard. Subseeder, great at beating certain threats. I've honestly swept teams with just Abomasnow. Frostlass, who's my rapid spin blocker because this is a stall team. Hail stall team. Blizzard, Spikes, Substitute, Destiny Bond. Substitute just to stall a little bit more. Sets up Spikes, blocks rapid spin. Destiny Bond helps me on those trick Pokemon, not trick Pokemon with a move trick, but like Pokemon that set up, such as Bulk Up Scrafty, just a bunch of random threats that my team doesn't like, she can get rid of. And also in the last Pokemon situation, like say it's a Snorlax with Rest, my Frostlass can Destiny Bond it and kill it. Quillfish, my Toxic Spikes user. Again, great counter, great staller, great counter for a lot of threats on my team. He can take any Victini V-Create, any Darmanitan Flare Blitz. I'm pretty sure he takes 17% from a Scarfed Victini V-Create, which is just amazing because of Intimidate and his typing. I really suggest Quillfish on a UU team if you struggle with Victini, if you struggle with Darmanitan, because he just shuts them down. He also shuts down pretty much any physical threat that lacks a super effective move. Pain Split, Haze to deal with boosters, Waterfall, and Toxic Spikes. Walrein, classic Stall Rain, one of my favorite Pokemon sets in UU, in any tier you want to play it, because he's actually an NU Pokemon. Protect, Substitute, Blizzard, Toxic. Between Protect and Substitute, and between Leftovers and Ice Body heals him for 16% of his health each turn. He's actually recovering 12.5% health each turn. So he heals the amount Substitute costs in 2 turns. So I substitute Protect, that's 2 turns, and then substitute again, and I just substitute for free, and let Toxic stall Pokemon out. Claydol, my Rapid Spinner. Rapid Spins hazards away because my team is weak to Stealth Rocks and Spikes. Sets up Stealth Rocks. Toxic, Earthquake, Rapid Spin... Toxic, Earthquake, Rapid Spin, and Stealth Rocks. And then Rotom F, my Choice Scarf user, absorbs tricks, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Blizzard Trick, to trick Choice Scarfs on those stally Pokemon like Sleep, Whirlwind, Rest Hawk, Snorlax, and stuff like that. So I've been talking for 4 minutes, that seems to be a habit of mine. I'm just going to get started now. So he leads off with his Crustle, I lead off with my Claydol. I set up rocks while he sets up rocks. So yeah, both get rocks up. Now, I predict him to predict a Rapid Spin, so I go for a Toxic, hoping to Toxic the Chandelure on the switch. I miss, he goes for an X-Scissor. So I switch out as he goes up for Spikes. Now, it was a kind of risky move, because if he went for another X-Scissor, he could have killed my Abomasnow, Shiver Me Timber, but he doesn't, he goes for Spikes. I go for a Leech Seed, as he goes for another layer of Spikes. So he's got a lot of hazards up, which has me nervous. But I still got my Rapid Spinner. So I go for a sub. So he goes for a Stone Edge, takes out my sub. So I thought about going for Protect here, but I thought, I think he's going to switch out. So I just go for another sub. and he does switch out into Electivire. As I go for the sub, so Electivire takes entry hazards, stealth rock damage, and hail damage, but I see he's got leftovers. So there's no point in protecting because it won't do anything. So I go for the Leech Seed right away. So he goes for a Cross Chop. So he's taking Leech Seed damage now as I'm healing up. Now I go for a Protect just to stall a little bit, get some more Leech Seed damage. He goes for another Cross Chop. So I decide to switch in Quillfish here, which again was a risky move. I didn't think he was going to go for Thunderbolt. I thought he was going to go for another Cross Chop. But I could lower his attack and then switch back, but I'd be racking up entry hazard damage pretty fast. So he goes into his Crustle. Intimidate drops his attack. I set up Toxic Spikes, so he goes for a Stone Edge. I don't know why, because he's got the Intimidate. I thought he'd just go for another layer of Spikes. So I set up another layer of Toxic Spikes as he goes for another Stone Edge, and I'm just kind of confused at that, but it is what it is. So I got my 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up. I'm going to go into Claydol and try to spin away his hazards. He switches to, I guess he's saving his Crustle as Death Fodder because I got the Stealth Rocks up. He can't switch it back in. So here he sends in his Crafty. I predict him to predict a Rapid Spin and switch into a Chandelure to block the Rapid Spin so he keeps his hazards up. So I go for an Earthquake. He stays in and goes for a Crunch, and I'm like, God damn it, because now he's got 2 layers of Spikes and Stealth Rocks up, and I can't spin them away. So, kind of a bad position. I go into Shiver Me Timber again. Go for a Leech Seed. So he goes for a Drain Punch. The reason I went for the Leech Seed is because I figured this was bulk up Scrafty because I didn't see Moxie Boost, so I figured he'd have Shed Skin. So I want to get that any residual damage I can on it. So now I switch in my Pip, my Quillfish, to get the Intimidate on. And I go for a Pain Split, but he goes into his Crustle and fodders it. So Pip doesn't Pain Split anything. He goes into a Chandelure. I decide to sack my Quillfish. I just go for another Pain Split, but he obviously outspeeds because I'm uninvested. Kills me off with an Energy Ball. I see the Energy Ball and I think, okay, he's Scarfed. So I switch in my Rotom F. And I go for a Blizzard, expecting him to predict a Thunderbolt and switch in his Electivire for the Motor Drive boost. But he goes into a Suicune, which was an odd move, but it worked out because I went for a Blizzard and now I'm stuck in Blizzard. So I switch out to my Frostlass. Frostitute the Frostlass. He goes for a Roar, and I'm like, shit. So he roars me into my HugeManatee. Oh, the HugeManatee. My Walrein. I know he's not a Manatee, but I like puns. So I go for a Protect to get a little bit more Toxic Stall on. So he goes for the predicted Roar. Can't really do anything. I know he's going to Roar or Rest here, so I just go for a Blizzard. Switching out's pointless. Can't Toxic him. He does go for the Rest. I go for the Blizzard. So right now, I'm just praying he does not Sleep Talk a Roar. Because I'm switching into my Rotom Frost. And I'm like, please don't Sleep Talk Roar. And he goes for the Sleep Talk. And he gets a Scald. And I'm like, yes. And he doesn't get the burn. Burn didn't matter because I would have been able to live the 12%. But it's whatever. So I go for the Trick. And I trick him into Sleep Talk. So I'm like, alright. I can still win this. Because a Rest Talker with a Choice Scarf is completely useless. So he roars in my Walrein, my HugeManatee. And I see that he's going to wake up next turn. He can't Sleep Talk again. So I go for the sub on the switch. So I'm like, alright. Predicting well. I mean, that wasn't even prediction. He was going to wake up next turn no matter what. Though it wasn't really prediction. It had to happen. So the sub was safe. So I go for a Blizzard on the Scrafty. And I do 39% to it. Which is huge because I see I can 3-hit KO it. So as long as he doesn't get the Shed Skin on the Rest. I'm sure he has Rest. As long as he doesn't Shed Skin Rest the first turn of sleep, I can kill it. Because Shed Skin works after the turn. So even if he wakes up I outspeed and I'm able to 3-hit KO it, so even if he wakes up the second turn, I'll be able to kill it. So I go for a sub, predicting the rest. He goes for the rest. So as long as he doesn't wake up this turn or the next, he doesn't wake up this turn, so as long as he doesn't wake up the next turn from Shedskin, I can kill it. So I go for a Blizzard, and he stays asleep, so I can kill it. I know that for a fact. Doesn't matter if he wakes up the next turn from Shedskin. So I go for another Blizzard, and a critical hit, so it didn't really matter. The crit didn't matter, as I explained, but I didn't need to think it all out as much as I did. So he goes into his Electivire. I go for a Protect. Toxic Stall him. So he goes for a Wild Charge. So yeah, HugeManatee's doing work. Oh, the HugeManatee. As Hail and Toxic just chips away. Now you'll see how this works. So he goes for a Wild Charge, takes recoil damage. I go for a sub, and takes more damage, and I heal up to 88%. So I go for a Protect now. So he goes for another Wild Charge, and I'm back at full health. So I can just alternate between sub and Protect all day as long as their Pokemon is toxic. There's absolutely nothing they can do as long as they are toxic and can get rid of the toxic. So, and as you see, I go for another sub. So he kills himself off with Wild Charge. So now he sends in his Chandelure, already toxic, and I had Toxic Spikes up anyway, so I don't have to bother. Go for a Protect as he goes for Overheat. And just stall rain. Goes for another Overheat, I go for another sub. Just alternating between sub and Protect. And as he just takes massive residual damage. He switches out, I'm not sure why, because when he switches in again, he's going to die to Stealth Rocks. But he switches in his Suicune. Here I really should have gone for a Protect, because Protect doesn't work if they switch out. So I could have gone for another Protect with 100% chance of it working, not 50. But I decided to just go for a Blizzard. He goes for a Sleep Talk, so I know when he wakes up, he's completely useless because he's stuck in Sleep Talk. Goes for another Sleep Talk, gets the Roar, and roars in my Rotom Frost and kills it. So yeah, now I figure he might wake up, he might not. But I decided to just go for the Blizzard, hoping he wakes up, and he does. Goes for a Sleep Talk, obviously fails. And I get leftovers, so I think maybe if I get enough leftovers, I'll be able to sub. But he switches in the Chandelure, so I can't sub. As I go for a Destiny Bond. Just because anything who switches in, then if it attacks me, if he switched in his Hitmonlee, would die from the Destiny Bond. So now he goes into his Suicune. I still outspeed, even though he has the Scarf, and kill it. It was at 2% health, it doesn't matter, that Blizzard's not very effective. And his last Pokemon is Hitmonlee. I'm guessing it's Unburdened, but because I'm immune to Fake Out, I think it was Flame Gem Unburdened because he goes for the Blaze Kick. I outspeed because he doesn't get the Unburdened boost. And I'm able to Destiny Bond until he does hit me, miss the first Blaze Kick, and kill me. And I win with my Walrein left. So it was a 1-0. Close match. Good game, Vente. If you liked the battle, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, so again, good game, Vente, and see you tomorrow.